You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Rotunda, also known as IRS, Erwin Shyster, formerly with WWF.
What's going on? It's your girl, Valentina Loca.
Hey everybody, this is Rip Studwell.
Hello everybody, it's Ethan Everhart.
What is up, wrestling world? This is the resident rock star of Impact Pro Wrestling, Adam Love.
This is Lars Metzger.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your golden boy, Bryce Jordan.
Woo! It's the Cornbell Cowboy.
The one called Manders, and you're listening to Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. As you had just seen there at the start of the show with some fan cam footage from last week's Bridge City Slam, we had a very shocking ending to what was a great event and a great weekend. And I got somebody here who wants to explain his actions as he shocked the Central Empire wrestling world. He shocked me. He shocked the fans. You saw it there in the video clips. I'm going to have some pictures throughout this conversation as well from our friend Clint at Tag Team Photography. And Storm, before we get into that though, I do have to give my congratulations to you, as you were also inducted into the CEW Hall of Fame this past weekend. And again, despite what happened at the end, it was very much deserving, and I was honored to be there with you for that, man. But again, you came out, you did what you did. You had some things to say in the ring. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that, as I'm welcoming in my current guest now, Storm Thomas, to the show to, again, explain what went down last week?
Zach, thank you so much for having me. And not only do I appreciate the congratulations, congratulations to you as well on receiving your recognition at the 2023 Hall of Fame, because, again, I meant what I said that night. I meant everything I said. I understand you used a phrase there that's very, very important that I want people to hear. You said, despite what happened the next night. It's not despite what happened. It has everything to do with what happened. I meant when I congratulated you. I meant when I congratulated everybody else. And those actions that following night, which we're about to get to, I meant that too. And there's very good reason for it. And I hope by the end of this, you have a better understanding. So yes, Friday night, you and I both walked into the 2023 Hall of Fame, received our awards, which were both very deserving for very many reasons. Now, we'll jump right into what happened. Zach, you do commentary there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you were watching the entire steel cage match, right?
Yep.
Could I ask you a question and have you be 100% honest with me?
Yeah.
I know that you're the interviewer and I'm the interviewee, but I would like to kind of flip the roles a little bit because it's 2023 and we do things different now. Do you feel that match was everything it should have been?
I honestly do. I thought it was a great match that deserved a much better finish than what we got. I mean, we still walked away with a winner because it was a steel cage match. And yeah, I just, again, felt, me as a commentator and as a fan, I felt very disrespected by what happened. I mean, I know a lot of other fans felt the same way.
Understood. You know what? It was quiet. That match was very quiet. Zach, I've watched a lot of wrestling. You've watched a lot of wrestling. I did what I did for somewhat selfish reasons, but I also did what I did because for a cage match, Zach, that wasn't it. I had a cage match with Rory Fox in 2018 in front of 1/3 of that capacity. You were there. Why was my cage match louder? Why were fans not on their feet, either screaming their heads off for the Buns, Jay Fowler, or cheering on their champion, JT Energy? Why didn't that happen? And I'll tell you why. And it's no fault of their own. They're not ready. They're not ready to be that show stealer that, I want to make sure that I choose my words carefully here because I realistically, I don't want to offend anybody. But to make a long story short, Rory Fox and I had just came off of a victory with Cowboy Bob Orton in a 6-man tag. And we're sitting in the back and we're talking about the match. What could have happened better? What could have been, tweaked or, proud of our outcome. But then as we're talking, it's almost like you can hear a pin drop. And I walk out and I see what's going on in the ring and I see that it feels like nobody cared. The crowd stopped caring. So I looked at Rory and I made a call. And that call was to do something that you inspired. Now, Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Who inducted you into the Hall of Fame?
JT Energy.
And when that induction occurred, everybody was talking about the self-proclaimed Mr. Bridge City Slam. Because he has won almost every Bridge City Slam he's been in. He's retained the championship 3 times in a row now. All right, Zach. Quick fire, rapid questions. Ready, set, go. Main event, Bridge City Slam 1.
I believe that was you and
Sean Nautilus.
Yes, you and Sean.
Would you say that match stole the show?
Absolutely. I mean, again,
Okay.
2 and another man that went into the Hall of Fame this past weekend as well, Sean Nautilus. So again, 2 CEW Hall of Famers right there.
And you would say that stole the show?
Yep.
Awesome. Bridge City Slam 2.
That was
the fatal 4-way. Ken Anderson.
Yep.
The Suplex Cyclone, Kurt Gannon.
And
myself and Big Bad Wallace.
Yes.
You said on your podcast, after that match stole Bridge City Slam 2. Bridge City Slam 3.
You and
JT versus Storm Thomas. Stole the show.
Yep.
Bridge City Slam 4. Austin Bayless, Storm Thomas. Stole the show. Match of the year. Call it what you will. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You were right. You said the last time we spoke, going into Bridge City Slam 5, I'm not sure how you're going to be able to steal the show this year, Storm. I found a way. That 6-man tag match wasn't it. But now, everyone's going to be talking about Storm Thomas stealing Bridge City Slam 5 away from Jay Fowler and away from JT Energy. And it's no fault of their own. They're just not ready to steal the show. So you can call yourself Mr. Bridge City Slam. But while you're calling yourself it, I'm living. Zach, realistically, I don't want to waste time with a lot of words. Here's what really occurs. The fans deserve better. They deserve somebody who's going to come in there and put on the absolute best show possible, which if you look at that locker room, again, no offense, but me taking all that time off, I did that so they could have the platform and take the company to new heights. Newsflash, ticket sales down all year since I retired. Merchandise sales down for a year since I retired. Interest in Central Empire Wrestling, holistically, social media engagement, YouTube views, you name it, they are down. So clearly, these people who I handed the ball to couldn't carry it. So, the fans deserve better. The company deserves better. And if your company is going to be represented, it better be represented by somebody who can carry the load. Who better than Storm Thomas to hold that title, to carry that company, and to get that company back on track the way it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago? So again, it's not personal. It's business. But my business ain't out of hatred. It's out of doing what needs to be done for the company. And during that match needed to be saved. And, Rory Fox has been overlooked for over a year because he got injured. Now, he may take a different approach than I take. He might do some things out of anger. I think first. He might act hastily. I plan things out. But what's that old saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I don't care what anybody says. I respect Rory. And when I looked at him and said, hey, I got to make a move. Do you got my back? Who was the first one out the curtain?
Roy Fox.
100%. So that is what it is, man. And that's why I did what I did. And I stand behind what I did. And if I had the opportunity, I'd do it again.
So would you say, I mean, again, you're aligning yourself here with Rory. Rory is also, in my opinion, a first ballot CEW Hall of Famer. I would not be surprised if we see him inducted at next year's Hall of Fame banquet. You can't take that away from him, in my opinion. He's definitely right up there when it comes to first ballots. Would you consider yourself a heel now? I mean, what's the direction here that you're I see your smile there. What's your direction here now for Storm Thomas as we head into the rest of 2023?
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a babyface. I'm not a heel. I'm the only one that'll keep it 100% real. Trademark that, copyright it. It'll be on a t-shirt soon. It's not about babyface, not about heel. Look, man, gimmicks are played out. It's 2023. You give me a name that was on that show, a wrestler. I'm not talking about Deborah. I'm not talking about Jimmy. I'm not talking about Kurt Angle. You tell me anybody else that can do what I do, Zach. Come up from out of state, steal the show, match of the night, match of the year, sell more merchandise than anybody else there. I built CEW to the heights that it's reached. For crying out loud, Zach, I'm the logo. For those who don't know, fourth wall, gone. I'm the logo. Why? Because that company put its faith in me, and I took it to levels it hadn't been to before. Now, some people are going to listen to this, and they're going to say, wow, Storm's gotten a little cocky. Storm's gotten a little arrogant. No, I'm frustrated, Zach. I gave you the recipe to make the dish. I handed you the ball on the goal line. I literally wrote the blueprints to build the next level. Nobody's doing it. Tell me this. Anybody cut any promos for that show?
I did. I believe the only ones that I had seen were between Jared Thumb and maybe one from Damien Saint. Other than that, yeah,
By
I
the
didn't
way,
really see.
I'm really glad you brought those two up. You want to talk about the best match reaction out of the crowd? If it wasn't the six-man tag, I'm going to go ahead publicly and say Damien Saint and Jared Thumb had the crowd more than anybody else. And if you were on the top half of that card, you should probably be embarrassed. Because all that money got poured into that cage match. All that promotion, sponsorships, just handing out money to guys who didn't want to work for it, didn't want to fight for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that Jay Fowler is one of the best professional wrestlers in the Midwest. I believe that JT Energy is a great hand. But they're just clearly not ready for that level of success and responsibility. That's the word, responsibility. Carrying the company, leading the promotion, doing the promos, doing the legwork. There's nobody that works harder than I do. In the gym, in the ring, on the microphone. So frankly, I'm just tired of sitting back and handing things to people who are not grateful. So it's time to take it back.
Now, I know earlier you kind of talked a little bit about what led you to teaming up with Rory. Would you like to elaborate more on why? I know obviously you guys have a lot of respect for each other. You guys had one of the best feuds I've ever seen from any promotion, any time frame in wrestling. Is that respect level for you why you decided to align yourself with him and kind of create this, I guess, mega powers of a tag team that you guys seem to have formed here?
When you have something in common with somebody, that's one link to a chain. When you now have earned and garnered their respect, that's another link to this chain. I said, I plan things out. I don't act hastily. At the beginning of the night, I spoke with Jeff Alexander on the microphone, hyping up the match during the Fan Fest. And I explained to everybody that Rory Fox is a living legend in Central Empire Wrestling and in the state of Iowa. Storm Thomas is a living legend in Central Empire Wrestling and in the Midwest. I have faced them all. I have done it all. And Bob Orton is a living legend around the world. It wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't just a fun tagline. You align yourself with people you have things in common with, and you align yourself with people who know what it's like to be left behind. Rory Fox has a fire burning in his stomach because when he was injured, how many of the boys reached out to him? Do you know that Matt Cardona, who hates Rory Fox, threw more money in his GoFundMe account than anybody else? And it's not even the amount. It's just the thought, right? The man had to have 2 separate quad tear surgeries. I checked on him weekly. Because when you go to war with somebody in a cage like that, properly, and you're really trying to rip each other's faces off, and when you stand toe-to-toe after 20 minutes of beating each other's faces in, if one person doesn't leave in a body bag, there is just a natural respect for the fact that they wouldn't go down without the fight. That's what we do. We fight. We wrestle. But we put ourselves through hell. And he didn't back down. And I didn't back down. So I know if I need somebody to back me up, I need to find somebody who's willing to go through hell again. I need to know that it's somebody that I can stand toe-to-toe with for 20 minutes that won't quit, that won't walk away, that won't back down. And again, if I'm looking at that locker room, nobody's hungrier than somebody who's been ignored for over a year. Nobody's hungrier than somebody who's seen the top of the mountain, been champion themselves, and then been knocked all the way back down and relegated to a 6-man tag. I'm not, again, it's nothing against the company, and it's definitely nothing against the fans, but you're talking about 2 living legends, 1 Hall of Famer, 1 first ballot Hall of Famer in the making in Rory Fox. And you think we're satisfied with being in a 6-man tag, Zach? I'm not going to say it's demoralizing because, again, I have a job to do. The promoter books me to do the job. I do the job, and I do it to the best of my ability to make sure that 700 plus people left happy. They might not have left happy this time, but they left understanding that something's missing. And what's missing is leadership, responsibility, and a true heavyweight champion in CEW. Now, whether that's me or whether that's Rory, we'll figure that out down the road. But understand, CEW was, is, and forever will be Storm's house.
Now, before I let you go here, I do appreciate you taking the time because I know it's kind of short notice here. What else would you like to say to the rest of the boys in the Central Empire Wrestling locker room?
Look at me. Don't just listen to these words. Look at my face because I want you to see the sincerity. It's not personal. I've had individual talks with every single one of you before your matches, before shows, trying to help you elevate your game, not only in the ring, but out of the ring. I have pulled some of you aside and tried to give you tips on how to make money in this business that you've never seen before. And when you don't implement the teachings that I'm trying to feed you. You're wasting my time. You're wasting my talent. I'm trying to do something nice and give back to you, and you basically spit in my face. What do you expect me to do? Sit back and watch you kill the company that I built for 12 years? The company that Brian got, Evan Jordan, Sean Nautilus, Donnie Pepper Cricket, Axel Grease, all of those guys. We built that company to be able to have Bridge City Slam. And you just walk in, put your little t-shirts out. You don't got no skin in the game, so what do you care? You go, you make a couple bucks, you leave. This ain't my fault. It's yours. Because you didn't listen, you didn't take the advice, and you don't want to grab the bull by the horns and take it to the next level. So if you can't, I will. And truthfully, this is why I'm back. So, fellas, if you don't like it, you can do something about it. You can step up, or you can shut up. Either way, I did what I did, I've said what I said, and I'm coming for what's rightfully mine. And it'll go right up there. The CEW Heavyweight Championship.
All right, everybody, there you heard it from the man himself, Storm Thomas. And again, it's been a wild week here. We continue to thank you all for your support. Storm, thank you for hopping on here with me kind of last minute to get the word out there about why you did what you did. I know a lot of fans have been eager about an explanation for this. So for that, I do say thank you very much. Again, it's always a privilege to have you on, man. I may not agree with what you did, but you're one of the people I respect the most in this business. And anytime you want to chat like this, I'm open ears, my friend.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, Zach. You just may not understand it. And that's fine. It takes time. You will understand and you will appreciate it. And it's only going to get wilder and crazier from here. And I'm looking forward to doing it again with you soon.
So, everybody, that's going to do it for us here on this special edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. Until next time, we will see you right here on the World Wide Web.